I'm hoping it grows and gets better, and I'm hoping your average person does get access to higher processing power, so the programmers have more to work with. And I think there's more and more programmers every single year. I mean, it's getting to be a big employment option. I mean, people are finally starting to learn it at a younger and younger age. I think my younger sibling is taking. I have a really young sibling. He's like 9, and he's learning programming. I'm like, man, I wish I could have learned programming that young.
Right. When I was going to school,
awesome.
only programming or only computer class that I had was keyboarding.
Yeah,
learning where your fingers should go on the keyboard. Like that was the most sophisticated thing we had. Computer class is like a blow off. Just go in there and play around and create things on
It's
paint.
funny how like important they thought that was, when like in actuality every single young person born now, it just becomes second nature just because you do it. It's not like, I mean, it was like a very important thing to do like in the 80s, is learning that so you could, you know, perform well in an office or something. But like now it's just like so second nature that it doesn't have to be taught. You just really learn the most efficient way because you want to type as fast as you can.
Yeah, I remember putting down on
something
like resumes 120 words a minute or something. You know, like nowadays people were like, why would you even put that there?
Yeah. But yeah, learning. I mean, I feel like it's just another language like any other. And if you start learning it young, I mean, you're going to be so much more masterful in it than someone who started learning it at 20 or something. You know, I mean, so I'm excited for the future of it all. I think it's going to be good.
And if you look at like the big companies that can afford to hire, you know, not just a couple programmers, they don't just hire programmers. They hire graphical artists, people who are incredibly skilled at not just creating three-dimensional characters, but creating artwork in real life, paintings and sculptures. And they bring these people in there and they teach the programmers, or they work with the programmers to create these things in the world that just look and they feel amazing. You know, they have the imperfections that you would normally have in the artwork that they would normally create. They also bring over writers that used to work for movies, you know, so they have like the storylines that can capture the audience, and they have directors and like video photographers letting them know from what angle they should, you know, shoot their cutscenes. And that has made the cutscenes and movies within the video games, I think, you know, 1,000 times better. They've gotten to the point where, you know, you can find on the internet, if you go onto YouTube, you can do a search for like all the Halo cutscenes, and if you watch the cutscenes from back to back to back through like the hour and a half, it feels like a movie. Like there's no like, oh, there's a black scene here and it's just kind of like, where's the missing information? No, it's like a physical movie that's been animated.
Yeah, I think the artwork thing is one of the things like I'm really amazed at sometimes. Like in video games, like sometimes a video game comes out and everyone's excited for it for like 2 months, and then it kind of passes on, and some people are still playing it, but the majority of gamers have moved on to the next game. And like all of the artwork that are in some of these, like a AAA game that people might play like for a few months of 1 year, and all the artwork that went into it, I mean, that is just so, it's mind-boggling how much effort gets put into the art of all these games. And it's I think it's probably pretty underappreciated. Like in this game we're playing right now, the number of I mean in the different zones, all the artwork that went into it, the different items, and some items have the same icon, same image for them, but like they didn't have the resources to do more to make one for every single item.
Right.
But it's mind-boggling how much they did do. Like, I mean, the hundreds and hundreds and thousands of items in this game. It's like there are so many, so much to it. I mean, it's like to have
and maybe
drawn it all out, have made it all. You know, I mean, it's
but maybe everybody doesn't appreciate it. You know, there's going to be those people who go through the game, like you said, very quickly, and then they move on to the next one. That's kind of the life of any video game. But there's always going to be those people who do, because If you look at classic games like Mario, you know, like anybody can picture, when you say Mario, you can picture what he looks like, the little red cap, the suspenders, he's a plumber, you know, like those are things that have stuck with people because the game was, one, really, really good. It was, you know, at the right time, at the right place. You know, Gears of War is another game, Halo, people can picture those things. So I think, you know, there's always that group of people who will appreciate your game and the time you spent on it. And I think that's what, as a programmer, I would hope anyways, that's what you're hoping to get out of it, besides, you know, just getting paid, obviously. That's definitely a driving force for a lot of people, but I think with games,
I think what I mean by like how like a game can come and go is I'm more amazed at the scale of production that there is with all of these games, and they all have unique art for the most part, and so there's just so much being created. Like the fact that you could have, you know, 50 big games in a year, pretty much, you know, nowadays, like there's like a ton of games that come out every year, and it's
a lot
like
more than that, but yeah,
that's a lot of people. I mean, you know, that people are interested in, like a lot of these games, and like that's like an army of people in the background making everything you're looking at, you know.
But it's the same thing with
mind-boggling.
It's the same thing with movies. You know, movies, they started off very simple with just a small crew of people doing things, and now when you look at some of these big budget movies that they're coming out with, or that they have been for years, you see this army just like behind them of creating this epic movie scale. And it was kind of strange at first, but now it's kind of become commonplace. I think video games are just an offshoot of entertainment. You know, it was the books before, then radio, then movies, and now it's kind of like video games has their heyday until the next technology comes over to portray an idea, portray a storyline in a way that captures more senses than the version before it. You know, you sound, then picture and sound. Now you have picture, sound, and the tactile sensation of me making choices and kind of being wrapped up in the storyline. So, but yeah, definitely lots and lots of people being able to employ themselves by going into the video game industry, and I hope it keeps increasing, because the stuff that they're coming out with is amazing, and it gives you a lot more choices. As a kid, I didn't have that many choices. I had, you know, one game every like 4 or 5 years, it seemed like, for certain genres, and you just had to play that game over and over and over again, and hopefully it was a good one, because, you know, it sucked to get a bad one.
Yeah, it's really impressive what small indie companies are doing with like a real small team, and they make these really impressive games. I mean, I don't know. I have no artistic ability other than, I mean, I do some music, but like in terms of visual arts, like it's pretty amazing that all these games are created. I like, it's kind of like just the modern world. There's so many things like that are created that, like, if you really wanted to understand how it works, you'd have to really like spend some time to like really try to understand it.
They get detail, that's for sure.
Yeah, lots of detail to all this, and like it's just kind of mind-boggling to me that it's all done in the first place. I mean, it's cool stuff, I guess.
You know, they're passionate about it. And I wouldn't put down music either, because that's a skill that I don't possess even remotely. I mean, I play the drums, but that's not really music by itself. And music can make a huge difference. If you watch a scary movie and turn the sound off, like it loses pretty much all of its effect. You know, the same thing with an action movie. You know, the music in the background kind of building up and leading to the big climax, to the big, you know, scene between the two heroes and anti-villain. You know, it's something that I see some movies forget, and some video games do too. This game right here has very good music. There's certain zones that you can go through, and it's just like, oh, this is good, you know?
It's interesting, because, like, in my view with horror, the thing that matters even more than music is the sound engineering itself. Because it can be, like, completely quiet, but if there's really unsettling sounds going on, it could really make it a lot more creepy.
Yeah, I leave that to like the whole thing, the music, the sound department, all the creaking and moaning of the wood, and the little taps on the, you know, the floor above you or something. You know, that's all something that adds to your immersion into what you're watching. And you're right, it's amazing when they get it right. But I think you need all of that, you know. It's not just one field. So, you know, if you're into music, man, you know, there's always a place for you in video games, I would imagine.
I always feel bad in EQ because I have the music off because I'm almost always in voice calls, whether it's like rating or like this, and sometimes I'm like the thing is that the music is like, it really adds emotion to this game. So when I'm soloing, I try to turn it on just to have it, and it really changes the feel of the game. That's like a humongous part of the nostalgia. Like when Sirkin starts his podcast up and that music plays up, it just like gives you this like rush of emotion like that. You know, this really is. That's a huge part of EQ to me.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, especially the build-up. You know, when you're in a fight, you hear that combat music come on, and if you're killing like an orc warrior like we are, and he's just decimating you, you hear that crunch from the critical hits, and it's just like, oh no, like, should I run? Am I gonna make this one? Or when you hear the crunch, you know, the other way, when you're beating that guy down so hard, especially in like Kale, where you got like a whole raid force, and all you hear is these crunches again and again and again. It really makes you feel kind of uber, and that's all just from the sound alone, because you're not able to really process, you know, all the time your combat hits or the combat hits of an entire raid, but you could process that sound as you get those crit hits.
Yeah, I'm really glad the original creators of this game ended up getting the backing that they did, you know, from Sony and all that, because they really did a whole lot with this game. I mean, by the time Velius came around, I mean, there's like the amount that they were able to put into it is really awesome. It's really a rich game.
I mean, I'm glad and kind of upset or dismayed at the same time, because the programmers, the people who originally created this game, eventually had a difference of opinion on where the game should go. And listening to them,
that's the sad part.
You know, kind of finding out what their opinion was, I actually kind of agree with them. I'm the more of like the classic person who likes the game the way it was, and the programmers apparently did too. You know, like they wanted to move in that direction. Sony wanted to move more in a popular culture, you know, WoW version, and you know, there's people playing Everquest on live to this day, so that's not necessarily a bad decision. It was just a different one. So I don't know. You know, I'm hoping Brad McQuaid, with his new game, Pantheon, he said he's learned a lot about, you know, the finances, something he didn't really know that much about the first time around. You know, I can't really blame him as a programmer. Trying to learn all that at once is probably a daunting task, and you're never probably ready for it until you dive in, but it seems like he knows more about it, and he's doing like crowdfunding, and people can go in there and donate money to get access early, and all this stuff to raise the money without going to a big company, so he doesn't have somebody looking over his shoulder and being like, we're going to do this whether you want to or not, and so he retains the ability to make all the decisions, which may or may not be a good thing. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm hoping it is.
Have you been keeping up with like development of all that?
Yeah, it's coming out this Christmas for those that have paid $1,000 or $100 a month for, I think it was like 10 or 12 months or something like that, the equivalent of $1,000. So I'm not going to be part of that. They're also signing an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, so those that are going to be playing it still can't even talk about it. I have paid for the $100 version, which is I think it's alpha or something like that, and they haven't really specified when that version's coming out. So we'll see. I'm hoping for the best. It looks cool. There's a few things in there that they've added that I can't wait to see how they integrate it into it. One thing I was kind of disappointed at, seeing their first glance, the first introduction of it, was the ability to bring in the outside effects. So like snow will supposedly, when they were talking about it, would have like an effect on you. If you're in a snowy area, you take damage a little bit more. One thing they did with that I like a lot was the weapon, the type of weapon. So if you're fighting a skeleton, having a blunt weapon that crushes bones will do more damage than having a slashing weapon, because there's really no flesh on them, so it's not really doing as much. That is kind of a unique idea, I know warriors, as it were, already had a hard enough time keeping enough weapons on them to switch out for certain reasons. So I think this may add a little bit more in-depthness to their classes. I could see even your class, like the monk that you have, having to keep, you know, some type of weapon on him for certain mobs because you do a lot of crushing with your fist.
Yeah, that's all really interesting stuff. I was keeping up with the streams they were doing here and there, but I kind of fell off of that.
It's good. It's just, you know, it's super early, so you never quite know. Even if you find something in there that you like and you're just like, oh, that's a great idea, by the time it's done, you know, that idea may be completely gone or turned into something that you no longer enjoy. But again, you kind of have to hope for the best, even if your experiences have told you in the past that early access beta versions, you know, they tend to be kind of hard on Steam goers, because I've played a lot of games that have been sent to me by companies saying, hey, check out my game, show a video of it, get people kind of psyched about it, and I'll check it out. And if it's a bad game, I'll let people know. If it's a good game, I'll let people know. But because I have access to all of these, I start seeing a lot more of a trend where these game companies, they put out something that looks good. They get a lot of, you know, build up. They get a lot of people excited about it. And then 2-3 years later, they're still working on it. 4 or 5 years later, they've already decided that they're not going to finish the game. And all those people who put money into it, you know, they paid $40-50 to support a game company that never finished their game, and you never really got to play a $40 or $50 game, you know? So you get burned too many times, you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, that's rough.
So I hope this isn't one of them, but, you know, in the back of my mind, you kind of have to wonder at some point.
It's been a long time. I'm hopeful for it, man. I really hope it's a cool game, but we'll see.
I think the reason I'm more hopeful than anything else, besides the videos getting me psyched, is the person who's making it. You know, just the Brad McQuaid being part of that as the guy who is part of the original Everquest. I hope he can bring some of that magic that he brought into that back into a new game. He also did another game. Oh man, I'm not gonna remember what it is now. I'm trying to think of the name. Oh, I got an orc.
Vanguard.
Vanguard. There you go. Is that you there, Chupa?
Maybe.
Chupa.
He has to be quiet. I think people were sleeping, but.
What you doing, Chupa?
Stuff.
Stuff.
Oh, you got another red
of?
guy.
Yeah.
Nah, just chilling. You guys need something?
No, we're just talking.
Nah.
So, did you play Vanguard?
No.
I never actually got to try it myself, but I've heard Cypher talk about it. He loved the crafting system in that one. I don't know what they could pull over from that one, but I've heard he learned a lot from that one as well, besides EverQuest, as far as you know, on the back end, the business side of it.
Yeah, I think him doing it the way he's doing it now with the crowdfunding is going to help him out a lot, as far as what you said earlier.
Oh, this wizard's gonna
Power.
die. She keeps getting aggro.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Down goes the wizard.
Yeah, she probably nuked a little sooner than she should have.
It's a tough one. She probably didn't
It's
realize
hard.
it's a real
It's hard to time. It really is.
I've died plenty of times as a wizard, so I'm not gonna falter for that one. I do feel sorry that she died, but
She probably got a net EXP gain, which is pretty good for a wizard in a group.
oh yeah, I think so too. I think she leveled like twice already.
You know what's funny is that I've noticed other people's health but mine.
Yeah, yours doesn't seem to be moving all that much.
I don't know. I'm like a backseat cleric.
No,
Don't
she's
pay
only
attention to
T-zoned
my
over.
health.
Bushido, man, I tossed you in the call earlier, but she didn't answer. He says Diablo 3 sucks. I don't know where that one came from. You talking about on the beta, maybe? Steph.
Well, you know, Lark, he lives in his own little world.
Steph.
Has conversations with himself.
I love Diablo 2. Diablo 3 was not one of my favorites, but Diablo 2 was an amazing game. And, you know, kind of still carry over that love just because of that one game right there. Diablo 1 wasn't too bad either.
played Diablo 2 a little earlier this year. I quickly got re-addicted a little bit. I only played it for a few weeks, but it was like, it was just like old times. It's a really great game.
It brings you back into it, you know. There's so many different classes you can play that it's one of those things that if you do come back to it after a little bit, you can either choose to play a different class or play the same class but go down a different route. You know, Necromancer for sure has different routes that you can go down. Paladin even more. You can be a group paladin or you can be a solo paladin.
Yeah.
What class did you end up playing on that one?
On the replay, I think I went Necro.
Ooh.
Which is pretty fun.
Now, did you
I don't think I really played it much back in the day.
Did you go towards like the skeleton pet or more towards zombies or like what would you pick out?
I think when I did play it back in the day, I had like a giant skeleton pet army. I think this time I tried to go for like the different abilities, like the armor and the shields and all that.
Oh,
it was
really?
kind of cool. It was kind of more challenging, I think, because you could really zerg with those skeleton pets.
Oh yeah, it made it super easy, dude. You walk into a dungeon, and literally everything on the screen, and even then some, was dead. Just dead instantly. But it did suck, though, when you got to Diablo himself, because he had that big slam down spell that he would cast, and it would just kill off every single one of your skeletons.
Yeah.
Let's see, I could not stand Vanguard graphics engines. That's Stab Faces, that one. Rabbit says people who want a hard social leveling experience might be a small crowd, but passionate, older, and willing to throw money at it. I think you could pretty much say that for a lot of different genres out there, and that's what I'm saying is the frustration on Steam right now is because they don't really have a lot of oversight. Companies that create a game, get some money from players, and never really finish it can do another game next week.
They've got even less oversight now.
Oh, do they? Did something change?
They got rid of Greenlight and replaced it with something called Direct. But they got rid of the ability to, like, I guess upvote. So the community's not really involved in getting games on Steam anymore, which, you know, in itself was a really big problem, but who knew that, you know, not having that would make it worse?
I figured that would make it worse. I like the fact that the community as itself needed to be involved because that made the game companies have to care about what the players are saying. You know, if the players...
Not really, because you could just buy people's votes.
You could, but...
It happened a lot. It happened a lot, actually, and that's why a lot of shitty games got onto Steam, but it's worse now.
Can you all hear me now?
Hey man, welcome to the call.
For some reason, I don't know what it is, you know, in Skype, it just changes the line from my microphone. Just randomly.
You know how we feel about Skype, man. You know, it's works one day, makes you want to tear out your hair the next, so...
I didn't even know I was muted by it. It said line 2. I'm like, I'm not using line 2. Use the microphone.
What if you don't have hair? What do you tear out then?
I don't know. What do you tear out when you're frustrated and you have no hair?
I mean, what?
You just had self.
Ow.
Yeah, I'm not going that route.
That's painful. Jeez. Be crying.
Get a roll of duct tape it on, and one good yank.
But
yeah, that would not be painful at all.
Tear out you, sick Nick.
The homemade Brazilian.
I think that's what he was implying, but I don't think anybody really wanted to to say it. But thank you for typing it, because I always have to read what you guys type. No, I'm just kidding. I do tend to read it anyways, but there's a few things I'll skip over. Yeah, but I think, you know, either Steam or somebody's going to come out with a way of tracking and rating games that are coming out that are still early access and hopefully giving the buyer a chance to weigh in and get something for their money. Like I said, it's a really bad feeling when you put money down for something that ever happens. One of the other game companies out there that, not game companies, but sources that help game companies get published is that it's not GoFundMe, it's a company that is it crowdsourcing, the one that you can put money into but you actually get money back out of when the game starts making money.
Oh,
I can't think of the name. It's also not just for games, it's for anything. If you say, oh, you know, I got a new type of sock that cures all cancer, and I need money to help get it out there. You know, people can donate money, and then when you get it out there,
Kickstarter.
Is it Kickstarter? Do you make money back on that one?
Like that or GoFundMe or
Well,
whatever.
GoFundMe is just I want money. You don't really get anything for that
People
one.
just donate.
Well, there's Kickstarter for like what you're talking about. I think there's another one too that I'm forgetting the name
Yeah,
of.
I'm really racking my brain. What is the other one other than Kickstarter?
Only other one I know is GoFundMe, but
I think there's one more. Kickstarter's kind of the big one though.
I don't know about you, but I would never use like GoFundMe. I would feel like really crappy, like, hey, I'm in a down situation, and can somebody send me all their money, please? Thank you.
But it's not always just for themselves. There was a story on the news that I was watching, I think it was yesterday, how a lady, and she's a really, really attractive lady, so I think she's getting a lot of publicity just for that. There's people leaving comments on it. But yeah, she's like a supermodel almost, except she's never really modeled. And she had her car die on her. She ran out of gas in a really, really, really bad part of the neighborhood. And there was a homeless guy there, and I guess she talked to him, or he came up to her. I don't know what the whole story was, but he gave her, the homeless guy, gave her his only $20 bill. Like, that was all the money he had. And he gave it to her so that she could go get gas and get her kids home safely.
Actually, he told her to stay in the car, and he went and got the gas for her.
Well, that's even better, right? Yeah, you've heard about that one.
Yeah. She was walking to the nearest gas station. They ran into each other. He said, "Go back to your car. I'll get it for you." And he used the money that he had on him to do it. And then she started the fund for him, and it's what
$100,000 last I heard.
6 figures right now. Yeah. When they first told him about it, it was like $11,000 or $5,000. I can't remember what it was. It was smaller, much smaller.
He bought a house.
Did he end up buying a house with it?
That's what they said. Yeah, he was gonna buy a house, and he was also gonna help somebody else out, some other homeless guy. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know, GoFundMe is not just for yourself; it's also for good causes, and yeah, anything that can help other people reach the target people that they're looking for. You know, I'm not going to badmouth any charities out there, but when you give money to charities, you never quite know how much of that is actually going to reach the people that you're hoping to reach, or the animals that you're hoping to reach, and how much of that is going towards paying for the association and the people who are taking care of that company. You hear stories about that all the time, where like 80% of it goes towards running the organization, and only 20% goes
Yeah,
towards
there's very few charities that are true nonprofits.
So with GoFundMe, it goes straight to the people. I do believe they get like a 5% cut or something like that for running the website, but yeah.
Yep. Overhead.
Because I'm part of a nonprofit here for STEM scholarships, and bro, it's like pulling teeth to try to get sponsors for events and stuff. It's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
mainly because it's a complete volunteer force, and people, you know, when we have our board of directors meetings, why aren't we getting more volunteers? Like, dude, people have lives and jobs. This is not our job. This is me carving time out, you carving time out. How much time are we going to carve out? Or can we afford to carve out before we start losing out on something else? You know, I get paid to do something else. I have a family with 3 kids. Everybody here has other responsibilities. If we don't get sponsors involved, it's not going to succeed.
yeah.
True nonprofits with people that have other things going on in their lives are really, really hard to run.
I can believe it. But, you know, that, again, I guess that's why, you know, GoFundMe kind of works, is it helps people not have to be part of those organizations. Although I have nothing but, you know, the highest praise for people who take time out of their day to help other people in some way, so. Sick Nick says Indiegogo. I don't think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, there we go. That's the one I was thinking about.
I have to look that one up. And he wants to invest in my sock. As soon as I invent that sucker, you could be the first one in, man.
What's gonna be special about it?
It was a sock
So
that
it cures
cures all
cancer.
cancer, man. Not just one type, but all.
Oh,
of them.
really?
Yeah, it's gonna be
Well,
fantastic.
that's a pretty big selling point.
Do we all have to share it?
Yeah, it's the same
Is it
sock.
just one sock?
It's just one sock, unfortunately. So by the time it gets to that like millionth person, it's
Who
gonna be
gives a
pretty
shit?
grody.
It cures cancer.
Right? I mean, what's a little bit of toenail fungus for the
Toenail
cure?
fungus. Bro, that sock looked like it came out of somebody's ass.
At some point, yeah, I'm sure. And you have to wear it for like a week or a month to get the full effect of it, so it's pretty nasty.
Be like, anybody got any oxy?
You've got this all planned out, haven't you?
Oh man.
Yeah, who knew? AC Gamer,
Right.
the bioengineer.
I didn't really have to put into a sock. I just went ahead and went down that South Park route of making those speed cars with the anal probes and everything on them. If you guys remember that one.
Oh my goodness, dude.
They're like, do I have to have this on there? And that was like at the end of the episode. He's like, well, not technically. But yeah, I like companies that will let you do that, because then if the game gets published, you make a little bit back. If it doesn't get published, you own a piece of that game, and I'm not sure the legal wranglings on that might be in the future, but you might be able to give somebody else, another company, or even yourself, the ability to produce that game or finish that game because you own a piece of it.
So you own a piece of the IP then?
Yeah.
That's different.
Which, you know, is good, because they did that for Mystery Science Theater. I don't know how many of you guys are Mystery Science Theater fans, but that went off the air for a while, and the fans got together and they're like, hey, you know, if we raised the money for you to come out with Mystery Science Theater episodes again, would you be willing to do it? And the guy who made it was like, yeah, you know, I put more out. I like that series. I like doing it. You know, the company who put us on TV didn't want to do it anymore. So the community at large raised the money. They got him, you know, actors. They actually went out and found actors that they thought would be perfect for the show and got them interested in it. You know, they did pretty much all the legwork until it was time to shoot, and the director did the rest. And now it's on Netflix. Unfortunately, they did not use the crowdfunding source where they made money back on it, so now he's making all the money from that. And while they got episodes early, and I think they got other things like hats and t-shirts, they're missing out on like a lot of money that they could have made, because they did the production. You know, they were the producers. They went out, they found the money, they found the talent, and then they let the director do his thing. And in a movie sense, the producers make bank. They make a lot of money. Hey, Nibers, how you doing, man? I was gonna say hey to you yesterday, but you have like the tendency to send me a message in game and then immediately log right afterwards. I think he's like chuckling when he does it too, because like it doesn't take me long to reply back to him. I'm always kind of hoping he'll invite me out to do some like crazy stuff again, but
It's like crank calling you or something.
right?
He knows better. He's like, let me log off before he invites me to do something that kills me.
Good thing you have a blast from the past.
Yeah.
I spoke to Gavin just a little while ago.
Oh really? How's he doing, man?
Yeah, he said I sent him a link to your Twitch, and he's like he couldn't get through to it because you know Thailand and all.
Oh yeah. I saw him in game not too well for me, you know, 3 months, but before that, not too long.
He said to say hey. Hey.
He's always welcome to come out and join us. That's a friend of ours. He used to do some videos with us. Unfortunately, he had to stop playing Everquest due to some real life stuff going on with him. But he's a great guy, and wish him nothing but the best. Ooh, we got another orc warrior.
Oh, there he is now. Trying to call me.
Niver says never intentional. I don't know about that one. I'm gonna call shenanigans.
Alright, how do I port him over?
I do not know. Let me see.
I got him.
Do you?
Yep.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, this.
Hey, David.
Hey, man.
What's up, guys?
Oh, not much. How you doing?
Doing good. Trying to get on EQ. I can't. With Windows 8.1, it doesn't seem to let me come on.
What's it doing?
You try running this as administrator?
Yeah, I am administrator.
Sometimes you have to right click on it and
No,
say
from
run
the
it.
game.
Yeah, right click and say
Right
run
click,
as
okay.
administrator.
Alright, let's try.
I have heard people having some issues with Windows 8 and Windows 10, but
No kidding.
Nope, still trouble.
What's
I
it
don't know
doing?
What it is. It tells me to go jump off a bridge.
sounds like Windows 8.
Whoa, it sounds like it's out to get you then.
Man, Windows 8 has gotten
Yeah.
violent.
Somebody
Sounds like
hacked
the
into
point.
your game or something.
Oh yeah.
You take it out of
It's
life
a-
insurance policy recently?
Yeah, right. No, it's okay. I'm watching you guys on Twitch anyway, so while I'm playing.
Well, if you could tell us exactly what it's doing, there might be somebody on here that could help you out. I play on Windows 7, but I know the other people out there, they play on Windows 8, Windows 10, so.
I
So
was
you cannot.
playing again, but then for some reason it just won't let me into the game.
What was that, Gavin?
It says I gotta attach a debugger while playing Project 1999. So
Have you tried
What?
updating recently?
No, what virus definitions, what virus software are you running? Like McAfee or
I've asked.
try to pause it while you initiate Project 1999. Pause your scanner
Okay.
or whatever software you're using.
It worked. Oh shit, man.
$20.
You need to put
Yeah. Okay.
a exception for P99 in
Yeah, depending on depending on your software too, the exemption might not always stick. Mine, it keeps wiping it every time it does a new scan of my I have it doing automatic scan, so it keeps wiping my definitions in there. And so I just got to go in there and pause it every time I launch, and then just re-enable it after it's past the launch phase.
I haven't needed to do that with the VAST. The only thing I've needed to do is put in the exemption.
The exemption, yeah.
Yeah, and it remembers it.
Mine lately, man, I don't know what it is. I had an update to McAfee, and since that update, it's been doing some crazy stuff like that, where my exemptions are getting completely just cleared out, probably once a week.
I hated McAfee.
But it's free for me.
So is the
Yeah, it technically was for me too, for a while, but after it ran out, I just uninstalled it because it was a major CPU hog.
Mine's
So
not
I-
doing too bad. Previous versions of McAfee were resource hogs, yes, I agree. But this one, I don't know what version I'm running right now. It's not that bad. It's not bad at all, actually. Discord actually uses more resources than my McAfee lately.
I still don't like Discord. Tribe of Angels wants to use it when on Conan.
I don't think I've used a virus software in like 6 years.
Do you,
I used to not until someone was using one of my systems, and yeah, I got hit hard.
I guess if you're careful, you probably... I would still use one anyways, but... there's a website online that will scan the files individually, so you don't actually have to have that virus scanner on your computer.
Trend Micro?
I don't think that's the one. I have to look at it. I have it put it in my favorites, but...
They used to do what they call house call. I don't know if they still do, but they were pretty good.
Oh, why is my pet going all the way over there? Come back here.
Welcome back to the game, though. You got back in, man.
Thanks.
What character are you going to be playing?
I'll play Gavin, give you guys some buffs.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have you got a level 10 or 15, somewhere around that range?
Not. Oh yeah, dude. I got my rank. But you guys got me.
Oh, another ranger.
It's okay.
I'm gonna have to take
I'll
off
go
these
for
videos, so-
Rangers.
Oh, I was going to say you could have my spot while I sit back and relax for a little bit, because I've been pulling for a while, but...
I was gonna ask you, how are you enjoying this pulling?
I like it.
Making you eager for the monk again?
You know, that's the one thing, though, is I'm really kind of looking forward to the ranger at higher levels. Everybody says he opens up, and I've experienced that with the monk. He is a different animal at lower levels, and once he gets his feigned death, all of a sudden, oh my god, you know, it makes the character so much better. Then he starts being able to attack so much better. I think around level 40, right? Is it 44 or somewhere around there?
30 opens up because of flying kick, but then once your offensive skills start hitting higher numbers, not necessarily capping out, but yeah, you start hitting pretty hard, 35 plus. Depending on weapons, obviously, right?
Right.
But those slower two-handers really shine, 30 plus.
This is my level right there. But no, I know what it's like to play a character that changes as you level. So I've been told this guy opens up at a little bit higher level, and I kind of want to experience that because I never played a ranger. And
Do you have a bow?
I was dueling with a ranger the other night in KC on my mom.
Longbow.
Yeah, I got a bow. Oh, go ahead.
About
No,
400 platinum, that's all it would take.
I was asking Memo what he said about Casey.
I was dueling with a ranger on my monk in KC, and he was actually doing most of the pulling because he had harmony, and it was like I was on my monk and I wasn't pulling, and we were killing mobs. And it was amazing. I loved it. We were doing the basement. We were killing everything in the basement. It worked great. So like I was super happy to have a ranger there.
Yeah, I need to stag that bow from Trakanon's Teeth. This one's one that I got from Thum when he got rid of his. So it's nothing special, but I don't really use arrows yet. I was told not to until I got to a higher level, so been holding off.
I was actually thinking of trying out the cycle over there.
In Trekanon?
Yeah.
We need to get Chupa his key again, so yeah, if you want to do that one day, we'll take the gang over there.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Do open set key raid again. Get anybody on the server who needs one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be a thing to do for your Christmas giveaway.
Yeah, make all the newbies come over to that zone.
Yeah, just sit there. If they can make it, you get a key.
Drax says, hey man, how you doing? Hopefully you've had a good night tonight. It's not too cold for you, I hope. It's maybe gonna get some...
You need to get yourself a fake Tukata.
A fake what?
Oh, I'm talking my wife, sorry.
Oh, goodness. Toggin says, monks start strong and stay strong, really. Maybe they do. My gear wasn't all that great, and I remember Chupa actually coming over from a friend of his that made me an entire full set of Black Panther gear when I was in Highkeep. And the moment I put that gear on, big things started to happen. It was amazing. I could pull all the way down from the very bottom of the basement, which I couldn't even get close to before. And it was just like, yeah, night and day difference. And then as I got more and more skills, you could see the character really starting to pop and just give you the ability to do things that maybe other monks in the past, they knew what they were doing, could have done the whole time. But for somebody who's brand new to the class, it became easier, definitely. AC noticed difference once he got... Oh, wait, you just said the exact same thing I said. Sorry about that, man. Doing pretty good. Sitting at level 9, going to be level 10 and 11 soon. Ah, nice, dude. You just started the other night, and you're already going to be, going up there into the teens pretty soon here. What level do you guys...
Was that last night that he started?
I think it was last night, but it might have been the night before. My nights kind of blurred together when I'm doing these streams a little bit. What level would you guys suggest that he goes to Black Barrel?
He can go
level
now.
6, 7, 8.
Yeah, the upper area is totally low level. You just gotta be careful when people are running around in there.
Yeah, definitely. You got to be careful. There's a couple of roamers up top that are a little higher level, and you definitely don't want to go to the back area where the grizzly's at, because that thing will maul your face.
Watch your step. There's a big hole in the middle, and also don't go in the tree.
Yeah, don't go in the tree. Don't fall in the big hole,
that out.
and you'll be good. Shocker.
He got to teleport to Jifei, so that's why he's leveling really fast. I hope you're doing the belt quest, and there's a Shaw quest over there as well.
I hope he got a bind.
Yeah. Well, thankfully in GFA you can get a bind anywhere. You don't have to be at a bank or...
That's the important thing, though, is asking for it, because if not, that's a long... Bro, I know that run. That's not fun.
That's not just like across a continent, it's across like 2 continents, so...
That's how I deleted my first EQ character. I was in GFA with a friend, and I had an Iridite. He had a half-elf. We went somewhere, died, didn't know where we were at. We were bound in Kinos, and we both started fresh.
Killing the orcs over there, if you're an evil race, will make you better with all the guards and stuff, but it doesn't help you with the banker.
He's playing a barbarian warrior, so he's
Yeah, he's
good
a
on that.
barbarian either way, so he's good.
But
Also, if
Raise the
you're-
Banker, you need to do the shark meat quest.
If you're spending time in, it's Crushbone, right? Crushbone's over there by G-Fay? Yeah, if you're spending time in Crushbone, you got the orc belts that, you know, everybody's going to be going for, so I'm sure there's somebody that will show you where to go. The Crusader...
Belts
The pads, yeah, I think they're Crusader, though, aren't they? Or Legionary?
Legion.
Lego.
They're
Yeah,
good.
Legionary.
Lego,
Another
yeah.
good one is the Bone Chips quest.
And
That gets you a lot of experience.
Oh yeah,
That's
that was
in-
really good.
Bellwith, isn't it?
That's like
No, that's in
dwarves
Kaladin.
The
start-
Kaladin one.
the dwarves
Paladin
start with a
build.
power level,
Oh,
basically.
yeah, there's also one in Bellwith, too.
yeah, there's both
Yeah.
cities have it.
I think
Basically, every
majority,
dwarf ever made has started with a power level.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's
I
also...
actually had it. I actually had like somebody buy a whole bunch of bone chips for me for their dwarf.
When I was doing No Time to Res, not only did I level off of bone chips, but I did the rat pelt quest in the city, and I got myself a full set of chainmail armor, or was it even bronze armor or plate armor? It was really good armor for level 4.
Oh, nice.
Like you could do that quest at level 4. It was insane.
In Kinos, there's a certain spot that rats and things respawn, and the occasional little gelatinous cube named Cubert will spawn. If you kill that enough and get the little tattered white dress, swim up to where that one guy stands by that little pond in Kinos, just before you cross the bridge to go to the bank. If you give him that, sometimes you get a +3 to intelligence earring. But mostly it's like hematite or some gold or something like that.
Yeah, it's in the aqueducts too. It's a
Yeah,
pain in the
easy quest. It's just drawn out.
That's pretty good. Plus int is kind of hard to get for new
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. But as a warrior, I don't think he particularly needs that one. But there's another quest over in Crushbone that you guys can do. It's the key quest for the slaves. And if you give them 1 copper, they will
That'll
tell
raise
you...
your faction with the merchants over there in Kellathan.
Yeah, and it gives you a decent amount of experience. You just have to give them the 1 copper, they tell you what key they want, and then you can turn the key into them. Holy crap, this guy's gonna kill me.
The Taskmaster drops an earring too. Various NPCs, you give them, you go give like a dwarf the earring, and it gives you a note, and you take it to another certain thing, and they give you money, item, wisdom, rings. Real nice for low levels, guys.
Yeah, Shakes. His the damage cap is 20 or 22, something like that, until level 20, and then it goes up a little bit. I don't know what it goes up to then, but then at 30, the damage cap comes off.
I'm gonna pop out of the group. I gotta get going pretty soon here, so you can invite
There's
him in.
Guyvin.
Oh, but he's on his main right now, so...
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
whenever he's free to come around, but he can also buff you up, I guess probably. Well, depending on how high level of a druid he is.
Shit.
Guyvin's what, 30 or 40 something?
Something like that.
Close to 40. That's we had Dark Dragon had taken it over.
But yeah, he can bring over his level... What was it? Level 10 or 11?
Who's that?
Yeah, Guyvin's
Oh,
character.
Guyvin? I think he said he had like a 10 or 11 ranger.
Oh yeah, let him pull for a little bit and see how he likes it. It really isn't hard to pull here. I mean, there's so many mobs. All you gotta do is come out from this one corner and they're there. They're just waiting for you.
Buddy pulling.
Draxus, don't get used to it as a warrior. I hate to say it, but you're not going to be out damaging people for long. Maybe up until like level 20 or something, if you have a really good weapon. Then after that...
Depends on everybody else's gear too. If you got somebody that's twinked out, say a rogue, you're SOL.
But it's good though, like enjoy it because you can hold aggro as long as you're out DPSing everybody. After that starts to wear away, you're going to need to be able to get some procs going on.
Honestly, after level 20, I gotta find out what the two-hand staff is. There's a two-hand staff. That's the damage delay ratio is phenomenal, and I want to say it's a warrior only, or maybe monk warrior.
Green Jade Broadsword?
No,
That's a one-handed one. That's a good one.
it's a two-hand staff.
Green Jade has some decent stats on it. Some decent. Oh, go ahead.
Skin of diamonds? Anybody?
Skin of diamonds. Oh, do you need an invite?
No.
No.
I'm just asking anybody need it.
Oh yeah, I think you gave it to
I'll
me.
take it.
Terra is the.
I'll take it.
The small one.
Halfling
I'm
warrior.
the cute one.
How's the EXP been for you, Tara?
Like freaking awesome. I have like a 15% XP bonus.
Are you almost? Are you 16 or 17?
I'm almost 17.
Nice.
Pushing through those levels pretty quick.
Need a very awesome high-level warrior in Paradox.
He says, I'll be looking around for a proc weapon for sure. Yeah, it's outside.
Yeah, it's just a matter of when you actually get it, because most proc weapons proc a little bit later.
I mean, we already mentioned the Venomous Axe of the Valiant Brew. That one procs at level 1.
It does.
There's another one, though, right? A snare weapon. It's,
Yeah, it's a quest. It's, no, it's the one
It's
that's
a
procs
sword,
at
I
level
think.
15.
Engulfing Darkness or something, right?
Oh, the Kunjar Kuch, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's...
that procs
that's
at 40.
That
Oh, does
procs
it?
a little higher. Yeah, there's one that does ensnare at level 15, and it's a quest over in Fiona Bay, but you can find them in the... Well, not very often, honestly. I don't see them too often in EC.
If you can find anything with a stun on it,
Those are going to cost you a little bit more.
that will keep your aggro as a warrior.
SSOW drop in Unrest. Short sword.
No.
That's Lower Guck.
That is from Lower Guck.
Off of the
Yep.
King or Lord, yeah.
Honestly, bang for your buck at level 20. Staff of Battle is really good because the damage delay ratio on it, you're going to be hitting really hard. And at that level, damage still helps hold the aggro pretty good.
I gotta get going, guys. It's been really fun, though.
All right, man. Take
Take
it
care,
easy.
man.
And thanks for coming
See ya.
out. If you're on tomorrow, man, hit us up because if we get enough people,
Yeah.
like tonight, we might do a raid in Kale. You know, kind of celebrate
That
the
would be
weekend
amazing.
early.
That would be a lot of fun.
I'm babysitting.
All right. See y'all later.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Night.
Good one.
But to be honest, with a warrior, from what I've heard, you can never have too many weapons. So do not just sell your weapons when you're done with them, because you will be in situations where you may be the main tank, so you need that aggro. You may be the off tank, so you need to get rid of aggro but still do some damage. And as you get weapons with procs on them, there's so many of them.
And you can just be DPS too, flat out. So something with no procs on it, with decent ratio is still good too. Lammies come in handy.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Kind of costly until you get into Seb.
Isn't that a quest that's relatively easy?
What?
Done it.
Lamentations?
Yeah.
No, they're dropping
NG
Seb. Yeah, they're dropping Seb. They're not very expensive.
800.
It's all that's relative.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
obviously.
for
Yeah,
him.
it's a relative thing, but Lammies are a very affordable sword that will last you from 1 to 60.
Which one am I thinking of? It looks like a polearm with a big square.
That's a Worm Slayer.
Worm Slayer.
And you might be in charge of eating the HT harm touch in raids. That's
That's what
usually for
Rangers are
Rangers.
for.
Yeah, I was gonna say usually Rangers do that. They go out there and they die. And you sacrifice them to the gods so they get better loot.
It's especially Rangers with
That's
epics.
actually home.
And crazy enough as it might sound, when you kill a Ranger, you tend to get loot. So it gets promoted.
Angel gets his wings.
Something like that.
Yeah, the punchline goes kind of like that.
Oh, harm touch. Yeah, harm touch.
It's Death Touch, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess you could go with the death touch, but yeah, Rangers definitely will get that one. Or Shadow Knight, an off tank of some kind.
Not always.
You let a warrior take the death touch?
Nah.
No,
The Death
in
Touch,
my-
the first Death Touch will be a Ranger.
In my guild, I don't know, we've had like people volunteer to do it. It doesn't always have to be a ranger.
It does happen, yeah. I'll do it today. I'll do it.
The only ones who can't do it are people who are essential.
Yeah, but I mean, we wouldn't let a warrior
Clerics.
do it. I mean, you're gonna hold off and let them be a backup.
So yeah, like the warrior and the clerics and the DPS.
Rangers need to practice
But,
divination and stuff, you know?
We've had enchanters in our guild take death touch.
Like the first one or subsequent ones?
I remember I remember when Rylix was still playing, he would take the death touch for that big flying Pegasus thing on Island 4. The boss?
Yeah, the No, the Pegasus one. Oh my goodness.
What's it called? Something of Sky? Oh, it's been too long. Jeez, I can't even think of its name. But yeah, he would always take the first death touch.
I can't remember the name of the mob.
But he did that because you guys kicked butt in there, right? Like, it wasn't really a problem with him gone.
No, not really.
I've taken a couple before. I volunteered to take a couple before because of mage. Once I drop mod rods and everybody has one picked up, I'm done.
Yeah, as long as they're not really essential to the fight, like, you're not gonna lose if they're not there. Yeah, they could take the death touch.
Yeah.
Gavin, if you want, man, you can bring your little ranger over here and join us.
It's funny. It's funny when you have people actually volunteering and like as tribute for the death touch.
Pick me.
It's
like an honor.
Ask, you still playing Minecraft?
I haven't played in a while. Like I said, last 3 months I haven't played anything due to the flood that I got hit by. But yeah, I still like Minecraft, so hope to get back into it at some point in the future. Why are you playing it?
A little bit of it,
starts Enterprise?
What was that?
Yeah, I started a couple of weeks ago, and I've gotten kind of hooked on it, so I just wanted to know if you were still playing it.
It can do that, man. It can be very addicting. If you want to play it sometime, hit me up on Skype, and I'll definitely go over there and give it a shot. It's better when you have friends to play it with. So, like, me and Cypher and Hydros would get into it. I know Hydros was talking about it not too long ago, and he wanted to kind of get back in and try out some of the new stuff on there.
Wasn't it Hydros who chopped the ground out from under you, made you fall in the lava?
Yeah, well, I got him back a couple of times by accidentally spilling a bucket of lava on him and killing him and wrecking all his equipment. It was completely accidental. I trapped him in a corner and accidentally spilled it on top of him.
Here, this will warm you up. Oops.
Wolf Prince, hey man.
Hey, Wolf Prince. What's that?
I remember that when he was like, jump, ah! And it wasn't like right there. It was like he fell for a while.
I was gonna ask you guys, are you guys gonna play Ark?
Ark Evolved, or?
I saw Ark and I don't care for it.
No.
I'll give it a shot.
But you can try Conan Exiles. I'm into that right now.
Glad to see
I'm not trying your game, but you can come try mine.
I'm starting to wonder if everything was okay over there. Yeah, things have been going on. It's just taking some time, but yeah, I'm finally back. I've been streaming for the last 3 days now, and you know, it's good to be back and doing some games and just kind of spending my nights relaxing for a change. Is definitely.
You said you're gonna be working on your house on the weekends now, right?
Yeah. It's when my brothers can come over. It's also when I have the day off, so I'm able to cut tile early on in the day, not having to worry about it being too late and disturbing the neighbors. Although, to be honest, nobody's complaining because everybody's doing it. So I have a neighbor behind me who doesn't get home until like 9 or 10 at night, and when I'm in the living room, I can hear him cutting tile in his house for, you know, like 3 in the morning. So you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, that's the only time he has, I guess.
How much tile work do you still have? Is that tile like for certain wall areas, like in the bathroom and kitchen, or are you talking about floor?
The whole house, man. I had carpet in my entire house. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, remember.
So you're going a different route this time, huh?
You know, I mean, if it floods again, I don't want to be one of those guys who was just like, I never learned, you know? So everything that I built up this time, like any shelves that I put into the walls, I have to show you the game room that I did. I put shelves into the wall and I, you know, mudded them and, you know, textured everything. They're up off of the ground past the water level. So as long as it doesn't go past where it was before, all I have to do is kind of pull that sheetrock off. And I put a little strip in there, I read online, that kind of separates the sheetrock on the inside, but on the outside it looks just fine. So if I ever have to remove it, it should be a nice, you know, solid stream and not have to cut back into it with, you know, a razor.
You legit have to cut the previous tape, pretty much is what you're doing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's good.
So, trying to plan ahead.
As long as you're good at mudding.
I am, but I don't like it.
I'm not.
I'm done with it now. Less is more. Less is more when it comes to mudding.
I did the mudding downstairs and I looked at it and the contractor came in and I was like, hey dude, how's this look? He's like, I'll take care of it. I'm like, all right, thanks.
Mine are seamless, like you can't see them at all, but it requires a lot of sanding because if you put too much on there, you sand it down, look at it, kind of rub your hand over it, feel if you see it being all smooth. If it isn't, you put some more mud on it, wait 24 hours. So it's just a long, long process of doing a little bit by little bit.
Little layers too, because it'll crack if you get too thick.
Oh yeah, you don't even want to get close to that.
This dude pretty much took everything I did off, took the tape off and retaped it and everything. He did it in 2 coats and it looks awesome.
Yeah. I usually...
They're going, how the hell did he do that?
He
did it with 40 plus years of experience. That's how he did it. Dude was 60-something years old and I looked at him, I was like, I hate you right now, go.
There's actually a little device that I didn't want to buy because I'm only doing so much mudding, but it's a tool that actually muds and tapes at the exact same time.
Yes.
So
it's got a trough on the top of it.
Yeah, so I guess you could always go that route, but it was fairly expensive, and I was just like,
you got that's several $100s for it.
A little bit more than that. It was like $1,500, I think.
Was it 1,500?
Yeah.
I saw the one I saw was a small one. The trough was it was maybe 6 inches wide, if that, and it was like $600 for it.
I believe it.
I'm like, I could see it if you do walls all the time, but not for what I'm doing.
Yeah. So I'm doing things a little old way.
Trapper says it's called a banjo.
I don't remember what it was called. That's probably right, though. Hey guys, and welcome to the disembodied voice of AC Gamer. We are definitely going to be doing a lot more series in the future, but here are a few of them that you guys might find interesting. Of course, you're more than welcome to check them out. I would love to hear your comments. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. It's definitely the indicator that I use to tell if you guys want to see more videos like that, of that particular game style, of that series in the long run. So when you guys leave comments down, it helps me decide whether we should keep doing it, as well as whether you want to see games like that in the future. And here are a few of them right here. I kind of picked out a few of different genres. We will be doing spotlights for other YouTubers in the future. So if you want to get a little shout out, definitely let me know. If you group with me, chances are you will get a shout out in here eventually. But for now, these are just 4 series that I have that I feel like could use a little bit more attention and that you guys might actually enjoy as well. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we will definitely catch you all next time.